There's too much of that. We're not getting good stories because everybody's looking to make $2 billion.
100%.
And we need the BBC, the purity of their philosophy, which when Rhea came on, when Rhea started with us here, Rhea, we didn't think much of this British thing. We thought it would last a few weeks, right? And what we found out over 3 years is they're doing it better than anyone else.
Yeah.
They know how to do great TV. So you know what they ought to do? They ought to just copy what they're seeing from the BBC, limit the number of episodes, give you better stories, worry less about blowing up bridges, and show us something. Give us a story to tell.
And welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of the TV show podcast. I'm Jay Black, joined as always by the luminous Rhea Hughes and he's there, Angelo Cataldi. I don't know if I would say luminous. He's not reflecting light, but he's not gone either. And listen, before we get started, Rhea, I think that you're in the perfect position to give our opinion about the news I'm about to drop, because I did not put this in the episode rundown. I thought I would reveal it live on air because, Angelo, I think you're going to be very excited about this. If you guys remember, part of the problem we had with The Bear season 3 and 4 was that it didn't seem like they had enough story to fill 2 seasons. Well, you'll be happy to know that FX has renewed The Bear for season 5.
Right.
And that we will be getting 10 more episodes of story that was... There we go. There's Rhea's middle finger.
Hold on. Get a close-up of that. Rhea, what happened to your finger?
So, I'm still recovering from the slice to my arm that I suffered during Jurassic Park. This was the first day of my little mini vacation last week. The slider at my Sure House, I smashed it right into my hand. So, we don't think it's broken, but it's pretty black and blue, and the nail's turning black. And then I'm informed it'll probably fall off. So I have that to look forward to.
Yeah.
It looks to me like and I've known you a long time. You sure that wasn't a road rage incident?
Well, it's going to limit my road rage expressions, because I don't think anybody's taking you serious when you give them the finger and it's wrapped up in bandages.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Are you ambidextrous with the finger? Can you go left hand if you have to?
Yes.
Rhea's a Philly girl, Angelo. She could go with her toes if necessary.
I just wanted to make sure.
All right, let's get started. I want to start with your opinion on something, Angelo, because you are a huge fan of adolescence, and we all are. We all think adolescence is great.
Loved it.
Possibly the best show of the last year. And at the center of that show is a 13-year-old boy. Well, he's 15, but he plays a 13-year-old named Owen Cooper, who is just a phenomenal actor. To pull off what he pulled off at that age is just shocking. I sent you guys an article. Jenna McGurdy, who was on a Nickelodeon show back in the day called Sam and Cat and a couple of others. She wrote a book called...
Mark was a huge fan of it, so I watched it many times. Yep.
Yeah, and Ariana Grande, who was found on that show and is one of the biggest stars in the world right now. Well, Jenna McGurdy wrote a book that says, I'm glad my mom is dead.
Wow.
That recounts her experience as a teenage actress and the amount of pain that she went through with her mom being a stage mom. And it just came out that Apple TV Plus and Jennifer Aniston are going to produce a TV series based on this book, which, that feels a little ironic to me, that there's going to be an 18-year-old girl playing a teenage girl who hates being, but, that's beside the point. The point that I want to bring up, Angelo, is child actors. There's very few stories about child actors that were, everything was great. I'm glad that I did that. It's almost always, my life was a living hell. My parents abused me. I wished I had never done that. And I just want to ask you, Angelo, as a fan of adolescence and a lot of shows that have, teenage actors in them, is it wrong? Should we get rid of child actors? Is there a way to do this properly where kids aren't going to get hurt? Angelo, what's your opinion on this?
Well, you threw me a meatball with this one because I read the book. It's called I'm Glad My Mom Died, Jennifer McGurdy. And let me just tell you, it is an amazing book. We've heard about, in sports, we have lots of parents who are pushing their kids. This woman's mom was the stage mom from hell,
Yeah.
the worst. And she gives you chapter and verse on the things she was forced to do because her mother was living her life through her kid. And she's a terrific writer. I don't know what she will do next, but it was a great book. And I can't wait to see it because, see, there's increments to this, Jay. It's like with sports. There's some parents who are so pushing of their kids that they ruin it. They
Yeah.
ruin it. But there are others who know where the line is. So no, you should not get rid of child act. What, you're not going to ever write a script with a kid in it again?
Well, you
No.
write about teenagers and you get a 19-year-old to play the
Well,
teenager. Yeah.
frankly, they have worse attitude than the little kids. I don't have to tell you guys that. But no, I think the book, I can't wait to see it. It's on Apple. That's, I guess, where Jennifer Aniston does all her work right now. And I think it's a great lesson. And can you imagine writing a book where the title is "I'm Glad My Mom Died"?
It's insane.
Wow.
It's
And the
insane.
last scene in the book, I'll give this. She goes to visit her mom's grave. Her mom finally passes away, and she vows she will never return. Right? Like she. No, this is one of the most honest things. Now, are they going to sugarcoat it? Because Jennifer Aniston's involved, and you know what? She's just killing her mom. And
Right. Jennifer Aniston is so inherently likable. It'll be
Yes.
interesting to see her
Right.
try to play a villain because I don't see that happening very well.
All right,
She did a
she's
pretty
the
good job in
mom.
Horrible Bosses.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Well-
she's the mom.
She's the mom. Yeah, she's going to play the
Oh,
mom.
I can't. This is going to be way better than the morning show. That thing has been the Titanic for 3 years now. They won't kill it.
Yeah,
Who's
and-
watching? Is anyone watching the morning show?
I don't
I've never
believe
seen
so.
it.
Yeah,
I don't get it. But yes, I'm on board, and it's a great lesson for parents with kids who are going into theater or being forced by their parents to do commercials and stuff like that. It's a great lesson, and I think it'll be a terrific show.
Rhea, two things I want to say. Number one, Jennifer Aniston, I couldn't get past the outfit she was wearing. She could have done anything in Horrible Bosses,
Yes.
and I would have been okay with it. And number two, would you let Clark, if he was like, seen at a mall and
Yeah.
somebody was like, I want you to be in my TV show. I'm
Well,
going to fly out to Hollywood, like you're going to be in TV. Would you let him do that?
Well, you thought he would have been perfect because he's a redhead, which is rare.
Yeah.
There's not like there's tons of redhead. He's perfectly, Danny Bonaducci. That's why he was perfect on the Partridge Family. They're actually, because I'm in the Screen Actors Guild, I got an email when Clark was maybe around 7 or 8 that they needed young actors and it fit the bill. So I said, are you interested? He goes, no. I said, well, I'll send into it. He goes, yeah, whatever. But he had zero interest. But I think it comes down to the parents because listen, like what my mom was pushy on was good grades. Like I would come home with a B plus and she'd go, well, why didn't you get an A? I mean, that's what Helen was tough on. But these parents who do this kind of stuff with the stage moms, I mean, Brooke Shields has talked about it, what her mother was like.
Yeah.
And listen, Jennifer Aniston probably has a way to play this. She had a very complicated relationship with her mother. I don't think they spoke before she passed away because there were some kind of issues with her. But her father was an actor, so maybe it was different for Jennifer when she came up as a young person because her father was in the business. But you just read, there's too many. I mean, look at Britney Spears. He is damaged.
Yeah.
Because she was on what was it, the Mickey Mouse Club when she was 9 years old, and once you have a child who becomes the breadwinner, it's a mess because the parents just want that gravy train, some of them to keep rolling. And we lived it with who was the tennis star? Was it Jennifer Capriati?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jennifer
yeah,
Capriati.
yeah.
I mean, she told the story of how she was supporting her entire family. She was 15 years old and wound up doing like heroin. So it's just, if the kids want to do it, you let them do it. But you just literally protect them as a parent, like you're supposed to do. But these stage parents lose their minds because they see the dollar signs.
But
You know-
Jay, let me bring sports into this
Uh-huh.
because it's not that different. All right. Parents are always pushing their kids to play a sport. And then if the kid's any good at all, they get pushed to move further and further, whether they want to or not. Not every parent is like Rhea that asks. They force them. They force
Yeah.
them in. And then, all right, they get drafted. They're low rounds. They're in the minor leagues for 4 or 5 years, wasting their lives, never get near the big leagues, constantly dealing with stupid managers and bad situations, watching people that were drafted higher get pushed ahead of them. It's not that different. It's
Yeah.
just that in drama, in theater and TV and movies, it's more publicized that these people hit the rocks. You don't think a lot of these kids that never made it in sports didn't hit the rocks the same way? I
Yeah.
guarantee you they did.
What was the name of that guy that was like raised from birth to be the perfect
Oh,
quarterback?
Was it Tony Mandarich?
I don't know.
And
There was
Todd
another one I know
Marinovich.
he's talking about.
Todd Marinovich.
Todd
Todd
Marinovich.
Marinovich, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean,
That-
that
And
was,
as an infant, his father handed him a football and
yes.
said, "This is what you're going to do,"
And he-
and
Yeah.
destroyed him.
So
I
you
just
know what? It's there. Here's the bottom line on it, Jay. There are rotten parents
Yes.
whose kids they force into all sorts of things.
I-
What we need to do is deal with the parents, not the kids.
So I'll say this. I only had a kid in one of my productions ever, and we had to hire a child advocate. This will tell you what you need to know about parents. His job was to tell you what the kid could and couldn't do because they knew that the parent would let the kid do anything. So
Wow.
we had a scene where
Wow.
Paul Sorvino was supposed to slap the kid. And we had to have everything we said. The mom was like, "He'll do that. He'll do that. He'll do that." And the child advocate said, "No, he will not." And
Wow.
I'm not, I don't want to speak, I won't mention any names. That kid later committed suicide,
Ah,
who was in
awful.
my show. So
Wow.
you could see
Wow.
where the business leads some of these people. So
Jesus.
it's a shame. All right, let's move on to something a little bit less dark, Rhea. This is your area of expertise. I sent you an article that the head of BBC's scripted entertainment is leaving to become a full-time advocate for BBC shows in Los Angeles. And
Yeah.
they're going to hire a new head of scripted. I mean, it's not like
Sure.
this isn't a big deal, but it just got me thinking about the BBC and Korea specifically. These are two places that used to produce just locally, that their shows got so popular that now they're kind of international powerhouses, like the same way Hollywood is. BBC America, your whole thing, Rhea, is basically BBC shows brought to America. My son is a huge Korean television fan. The Squid Games and there was one about zombies that he loves. And I'm just wondering if you think, as a British TV expert, that the focus on making global television will hurt the kind of quality that we expect. Is it better to produce locally, and if something happens to be a hit worldwide, fantastic? Or do you lose something the second you start to say, well, what does this mean to the French market or the South American market or the American market?
What do I always tell you is always one of the main characters in most of the British shows I do, and it's the locale. It's where they film it, the beauty shots. I mean, to me, the English countryside is among like one of the most beautiful places in the world, and they film along the coastline. So I do worry about that. So I tried to do just a little deeper dive. This guy's been kind of doing it, I guess, part-time since 23,
Yep.
and now he's moving there full-time. I think from what I gather is we do know that a lot of very popular American shows are based off of British shows. The Office, The Apprentice, Ghost has been a big hit over here, and it was over there. I think what they're going to do is try to see how many more British shows they can remake as American. I think that's one of their goals to do, which is really smart because the BBC, I believe they're partially state funded.
Yes,
So
they
it's
are.
not like they have tons of money. And the writer's strike did really impact British television and filmmaking because, a lot of Barbie was filmed. A lot of Barbie was filmed in England. A lot of the Marvel shows were filmed in England. When that writer's strike happened, they lost tons of money. So, I mean, they were as impacted by the writer's strike maybe not as much as here in America, but they were very much impacted by it. So I think they're just trying to look for another revenue stream. But I think being in Hollywood, they can go, yeah, here we got these shows that we think you can remake into American shows and make the money off them. I mean, that's the only thing I could gather what would benefit them from this.
You're
They're
shaking
going to
your head,
ruin it.
Angelo.
They're going to ruin it. They're going to ruin it. In fact, they're going to ruin the person that is going from the BBC to Hollywood. They're going to ruin it. He's going to go in. The president of the BBC will go, well, this is like a 5-episode miniseries.
Yeah.
And then Hollywood will go, well, no, if we're going to put all that money into it, we're going to need 10.
Right.
Yeah.
They go, well, I really only have story for 5. The beer, right? No, the beer would have worked if it was 4 or 5 episodes a season.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
they're going to force this person at the BBC to become Hollywood, and Hollywood will grind it up. And you used an analogy when you sending us a script. You said, is everybody now using a baseball analogy, which drives me insane? Is everybody swinging for the fences now instead of just trying to get on base? That kind of thing. And yes, they are. You just went to see Superman.
Yes, I
That's
did.
a swing for the fences.
Yeah.
There's too much of that. We're not getting good stories because everybody's looking to make $2 billion.
100%.
And we need the BBC, the purity of their philosophy, which when Rhea came on, when Rhea started with us here, Rhea, we didn't think much of this British thing. We thought it would last a few weeks, right? And what we found out over 3 years is they're doing it better than anyone else.
Yeah.
They know how to do great TV. So you know what they ought to do? They ought to just copy what they're seeing from the BBC, limit the number of episodes, give you better stories, worry less about blowing up bridges, and show us something. Give us a story to tell. I have a feeling, Rhea, this will not work to the advantage of the BBC.
Well, the good thing is that, there are other streams that I have to watch British shows, Acorn, PBS Masterpiece. And, shockingly, there's a lot of British shows now popping up on Netflix and Hulu. So I have other options, and hopefully they'll keep that same, system that works.
All right, I want to briefly touch on something that I got to experience with my son this weekend, and I wanted to get your picks for this real fast. My son and I went to go see the 41st anniversary re-release of an all-time classic directed by a TV star named Rob Reiner, and the name of that movie is Spinal Tap. And that is a movie I grew up with. I had it on Laserdisc. That's what a dork I was. And I watched this thing no less than 30 times. I loved it. My son said, hey, it's playing over at the Voorhees AMC. Do you want to go see it? And I got to experience his first time watching an all-time classic of mine. And to watch him laugh in all the right spots and really enjoy it was just filled my heart with joy. And I was just wondering, we're all parents here. Angelo, do you have a show that or a movie that you shared with your kids that was similar in that experience?
It was an amazing experience I had a few years ago. My grandsons, the twins, were about 12 or 13, and they came to the beach house one summer weekend. And at night, my son put on a show that me and my son watched for all the years it was on, Wonder Years. And they were watching Wonder Years for the first time. And I ended up watching a season or two of it while they were there, not watching the show, but watching them.
Right.
And whenever there was like a love scene with Winnie Cooper, right? Oh, they would squirm. They would feel so awkward. Oh, and it was so fun to watch. I think it's one of the coolest things when we hand it down to the kids, and then the kids hand it down to the next generation. I think it's awesome, and I think that Spinal Tap. I can't wait to see the next one. It's 40 years later, but I still think those characters. They should have done a sequel before now.
Oh, Angelo, Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, and Harry Shearer are all in. They showed at the end of the screening, they showed a sneak preview of the new movie, and it is hilarious. It's a promoter telling them, it would really help us out if one of you could die on stage. and they're all like, do we have to die? What if I just went into a coma? Would that be okay? It's so good.
And
Rhea,
Rob Reiner is directing this
he's
one too.
directing and he's in it. Yep.
Wow,
I
that's
can't
amazing in
I can't wait
itself.
for it.
Oh, I can't wait to
Marty
see it.
Marty DeBurgi is his name in the film. I can't
That's
wait.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Rhea, how about you? What'd you share with Clark that was
So
special?
when he was 7 and it was on Christmas Day, I sat him in front of the TV and I said, "You need to watch Home Alone." Right in the same age range that the kid was supposed to be, Kevin McAllister.
Kevin
Is that it?
McAllister,
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Macaulay Culkin, who, speaking of child actors, that kid made so much money, he got out of the business.
yeah,
His wife's great, by the way, Brenda Song. I love her
me
in
too.
Running Point. So I sat him down in front. I wasn't sure, but I never saw that kid watches it. That's what we watch now every Christmas is Home Alone.
It's great.
And just watching him watch that movie and that kid who's around his age and how resourceful he was, that's my favorite thing that I introduced him to when he was 7.
That is
Awesome.
lovely. And I'll say this too. Sometimes when I want to really connect with my son, I will show him commercial reads that I think are particularly good. And there's nobody in the business who does a better commercial read than our Angelo Cataldi. So I'm going to bring my
Wow.
son in to watch this because we have a great sponsor, Angelo. Tell me about our
We do
sponsor.
have that, and it's ironic that you were talking about the 41st anniversary of Spinal Tap. 41 years around the amount of time that Steven Singer has been the king of jewelry all over the country, and especially in Philadelphia. And just imagine that you began a classic 4 decades ago, and you're still right there in the middle of it. There was no gap for Steven. He did it
No,
the whole 41 years.
Right.
And it's what makes a classic, a Spinal Tap. What makes it a classic is you can remember the lines, like you can remember I Hate Steven Singer. You can remember the stars, like the main guy, the jeweler, Steven Singer. There are so many things that make a classic. And what makes a classic above everything else is that it never stops delivering. From the beginning to now, it has the formula to make people happy. And that's what Steven has done. And that's truly the secret of his success. Be honest, be fair, treat your customers the way you'd want to be treated, and you get to be an icon like Steven Singer.
Steven is the best. There's a really cool thing on there. Speaking of the classics, I mentioned this before, the pearls. Somebody texted me and they went there. I said, everybody thinks of pearls as like an old kind of thing. Pearls are a classic. He does a totally modern twist on them. Friend of mine saw it, absolutely loved it. So check out the pearls from I Hate Steven Singer. Also, always a classic.
All right. The other corner of 8th and Walnut, I hate stevensinger.com. And I want to point out that when Rhea raised her right hand, that she was not making a bad gesture
Oh,
towards Steven. She had an accent. Some people, Rhea, they join in progress or something, and they
True.
should know that she was
nah,
not giving anyone the finger there, but she may later, especially if you're
yes,
driving near
yes.
All right, so Rio, you injured yourself, but that doesn't matter. You still watch British TV to give us
I do.
our update. What do you got for us this week?
So this was something I didn't know about, and I think it's because it only happened a few years after 9/11, and I think when 9/11 happened for the few, immediate years after, we always thought about it. But I was flicking around on Netflix, and there's a documentary on, and it's called, I want to get it right, Attack on London, Hunt for the 7/7 Bombers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I didn't really know anything about it, and I watched it. It's only 4 episodes, and it's basically 4 suicide bombers attacked, I believe, 3 tubes, of the trains, the subway trains, and a bus. 52 people were killed, over 700 injured. And they go through, it's fascinating because the people they got to appear in this documentary, Tony Blair, who was the prime minister,
Wow.
Right.
he's all over this documentary. The head of the MI5, the head of, who was in charge of the investigations, because what became clear early on was we always hear that, the CIA, MI5, they kind of hear chatter and they had no idea, which is still beyond belief that they had no idea that these attacks were being talked about. And then what happened was 2 weeks later, there were a couple of failed bombings, and it was the hunt for the 4 people who got away, who also tried to, they interview people who were obviously impacted in a very severe way. I don't want to say what happened because the one shocked me, but it also dealt with what we had to deal with here in America is that the Muslim community, really got attacked
Yeah.
because of what those people did, just innocent people going to mosque. And they interview a lot of that. And I'm not giving anything away, but how crazy it was this kid, this poor kid, Brazilian, by the way, not in any way, shape, or form looked like the Muslim that the police were hunting, was shot and killed by police.
Wow.
And it was so tragic. This kid was just getting on a tube, and they shot him because their rules were, if you suspect a bomber on the tube, you have to shoot them in the head so that they can't press the trigger.
Wow.
It blew my I again, like I said, I knew nothing about it. It was eye-opening, especially because it had happened just a couple years after 9/11. But it's really it's sobering, very well done. But I mean, they got everybody except for the guy who was in charge of giving the go order on killing the Brazilian guy. He's the only guy who didn't have the guts to speak.
Right.
And the
Where do
guy
we see it, Rhea? Where is it?
sorry, it's on Netflix. I will
Right.
say this: the guy who actually pulled the trigger, but he was told to, is interviewed. They do not show his face, and he's been devastated by it ever since.
I'm
But
sure.
they
I'm
were
sure.
basically, told to do it by their bosses, and so it's really remarkable the amount of people they got to talk about it. 4 episodes. It's called Attack on London: Hunt for the 7/7 bombers.
Great
Wow.
choice for you. And you, real quick, you apparently had a bunker
Yeah.
story for your teen segment. What happened this week?
So we got a tornado alert, and I do take those seriously. So we got a tornado alert last night, which means we have to go into the basement. I have a very nice basement. It's actually, I didn't do it. It was here when I bought it. But Cheney, the dog, has never been down there. We have spiral stairs that go down in the front of the house, and then you have to enter through the basement, through the outdoor steps. So I'm like, Clark, we got to get downstairs. We got to get downstairs. We had to and he's freaking out. He is. I put him on a leash. He wouldn't go. He's 50 pounds. He's a pit bull. Carry him in, and he comes walking in. He's looking around. He goes, "There is a completely living room down here. No one told me about this." Jumps up on the couch. So we wound up watching Heads of State, which is not anything. I said, Clark, let's just watch a movie. I don't know how long we're gonna do down here. Heads of State on Prime, starring Idris Elba and John Cena, and also Jack Quaid.
I love Jack
Dennis
Quaid.
Quaid.
Love him.
Yeah, he is so funny in this movie. Love him. He's quirky. They're basically John Cena is the American president. Idris Elba is the prime minister. It's terrorists are coming after them, but it's a comedy. And Priyanka, the woman who's married to one of the Jonas
Priyanka
brothers,
Chopra.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
God, is she beautiful. I
Yeah.
just have to say she's stunningly gorgeous. She's great in it. It was a fun, lighthearted. It got pretty good reviews, 70-75% on
I
Rotten
enjoyed
Tomatoes.
it, Rhea. I enjoyed it. I thought it was
It
good.
was really a lot of
Yeah.
fun. So if you're in a tornado warning, bunkered down in your basement with your at first very unhappy dog, who now is like, yeah, when are we going back to the basement? Heads of State was really a lot of fun.
Rhea, I just gotta say, I couldn't believe that they would ever elect a president like John Cena, who was
Yeah.
only president because he was famous and had no
Yes.
qualifications
No,
otherwise.
that
would
wouldn't do it.
never happen. By the way, if you're married to my wife and both John Cena and Idris Elba are in a movie, she is
Yeah.
not turning from the screen. She was
No.
happy the
Two
entire time.
good-looking men. I was very, very much in favor. And Idris Elba he's so good in anything. But
He's such a
amazing.
good
fun in this.
actor. Such a
Yeah.
good
I
actor.
love him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right, Angelo.
he's British, by the way. Rhea. He's done some
Yes.
great British shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, I'm in a waiting period right now because this week is a big week for me.
Oh, yeah.
It's
For me,
Always
too.
Sunny in Philadelphia is back out another day or two on FX. And Dexter Resurrection, the original Dexter's back. He lived. And he's back. And I love that show, and I can't wait for those two to come back. So I'll be honest with you. I've been desperate for fiction. So I saw this show. It's called Secrets We Keep. And the only reason I watch it's Danish. It's on Netflix. The only reason I started watching it was because the lead actress, Marie Bach Hansen, looks exactly like a woman I had a mad crush on for like 30 years. Nancy Glass. Rhea, do you remember her from
She did the entertainment show.
Yeah, I took
Evening
a meeting with
Magazine?
Nancy Glass.
We had her on a few times as guests. She was fantastic. And the woman looks exactly like her.
Wow.
And all I'm saying is, it's a decent watch. It's not great, but it's something to watch if you want to stare at a beautiful woman for 6 hours. Because that's, Danish, they don't do 10, they do 6.
Would you like to give us the plot or just tell us if you want to stare at a beautiful woman for 6 hours?
I'm going to be candid with you, Rhea. I didn't pay attention to the plot. All right. But I do have one discovery, and I'm thrilled about it because I don't know anything about Mariska Hargitay. Why
I know
don't
everything. I know
Because,
everything.
all right, well, here's what I could tell you, and we should have a debate about this. Law and Order, I hate. I hated every manifestation of it. It's
What?
overacting, it's simplistic scripting. You know this, Jay. You're a
Yeah.
writer. It's really hack.
Yeah.
It's all hack. But Mariska Hargitay, I have now learned, is an amazing person. The
Yeah.
daughter of blonde bombshell Jane Mansfield.
Yep.
Now, I knew that had happened, but it kind of, so what? When Jane Mansfield died at 34 years old in a car
In a
accident,
horrific car accident, by the way.
Rhea, did you know that Mariska Hargitay was in the car?
I did. I read a ghost story book that Jane Mansfield's house was haunted.
Yeah.
And so I knew the story.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, all I could say is Mariska just did a documentary on HBO Max called My Mom Jane. It's spectacular. I can't. The first half is about her mom and about the tragic life she lived and how it's ironic in a way, Jay, because she wanted to be a serious actress and two things prevented it.
Yeah.
Her breasts.
Yes.
She had huge. There's an iconic scene with Sophia Loren staring in her cleavage. Jane Mansfield. She was a beautiful woman who had some acting talent and other skills. She was a brilliant musician.
Wow.
No
I
one
didn't know
knew
that.
this stuff about her. All right. They had old clips. That was great. And then it takes a twist about who was Mariska's dad. And all I could tell you is by the end, and I'm a pretty grizzled old man, I had tears in my eyes.
Really?
It was that emotional. It's an amazing 90 minutes, somewhere around 90 minutes, and it's absolutely enthralling. You will be amazed at what a great documentary this is. My Mom Jane, and it's on HBO Max.
Oh, fantastic. Well, two great documentaries from Angelo and Rhea. And last night, I didn't put this in the rundown. I just want to say it. I got to see Superman, the new Superman movie. I saw an early preview of it because I'm an Amazon Prime member. And guys, it's fantastic. It's 9 out of 10. James Gunn, we were talking about this before the show, Angelo. That guy can write a script. He is, if for nothing else, you say swing for the fences, this got the upper deck. If for no other reason, if you want to see a guy at the top of his game as a writer, go watch this movie. There are 6 complete arcs from characters from the beginning to the end. I was saying to Angela, if I can get 2 arcs in one of my movies, I'm walking around like there's a parade being thrown for me. This guy is an unbelievable writer. If you don't like Superman movies or superhero movies, Angela, you're not going to like it. I know. Clark's gonna love it, Rhea. It's big, it's bright, it's colorful, it's fantastic.
You do know. So, and by the way, I was reading the New York Post this morning. It's got 3 out of 4 stars from them. They said it's terrific.
Yeah.
Do you know the kid who stars in it? David Corenswet?
Yes,
Yeah.
he was in Twisters. That kid.
He's local.
Really.
Yeah.
He's a local kid. Not only local, let me tell you this, because I don't know if I could get this to work because he's too big now. So Devin Caney, and you know who works at WIP now.
Yeah.
She's our Eagles sideline reporter, covers the Phillies. Her best friend from high school is married to him.
Oh
No.
wow.
She knows him really well. She said this morning, she was in this morning, I heard her talking to one of her coworkers. She goes, I'm afraid to look at reviews. I'm like so nervous, and we're like, no, he's getting good reviews.
Yeah,
So,
87%
he's a local kid.
on Rotten Tomato, and our top fan Keith from Haddonfield wrote in and said, "Talk about the Fox News controversy." I'm not gonna. Here's the only thing you need to know: Superman is from another planet. And the argument is he an immigrant or not? And I would argue if you're from another planet, you're probably an immigrant. That's all I'm going to
No,
say.
he's an alien.
Oh, and Allie, he is.
We had this argument on the air like
Yeah.
2 months ago.
Uh,
Superman is an alien. He's from another planet. It's
Right.
not that complicated.
It's a great movie. Honestly, take your whole family. It's, probably 7 and under might be a little bit too much for them, but if you got kids 7 and above, they're going to love it. It's fantastic. Really enjoyed it. So, Angelo, what we talk about
yeah.
this week? What do we got?
Just one last thing on Superman. I talked to someone who saw it last night,
Yeah.
and I can confirm there are explosions in the show. Because I know a lot of people are concerned because you've probably never seen an explosion in a movie before.
Yeah.
There are explosions in Superman. Don't miss it.
Angelo, it would even warm your cold heart.
All right. Anyway, that's in theaters if you want to see it. It's right there now. We don't know when the I'm Glad My Mom Done TV show is happening, but it will happen on Apple. And if you would like to see, this came up, the single greatest acting performance by a kid in history. Watch Adolescence on Netflix. Episode 3, Owen Cooper has never acted before. You will not believe how great that is. I tell you that right now. Spinal Tap. If you would like to watch it to get ready for the sequel, it's on Tubi right now. It is. Otherwise, you're going to pay for it. It's on a lot of other streamers where you pay for it. It's free on Tubi. And also, I mentioned The Wonder Years. If you want to binge that the way my son did with my grandson, that's available on Hulu, and it's a great watch. Attack on London but is on Netflix. Rhea said it's really good. It sounds great. Heads of State is something you watch during a tornado warning. That is available on Amazon Prime. If you want to see this Danish show, Secrets We Keep, it's on Netflix right now. And
we don't know what it's about, but watch it.
Well, if you would like to see a beautiful blonde woman with long hair, that would be the show to see for it's only 6 hours. It's not a lot. And if you want to see my mom, Jane, go to HBO Max and you will love it. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is coming back on FX and Hulu this week, as is Dexter Resurrection, which is on Showtime and Paramount.
Angela, real fast, did you see the reviews coming in on It's Always Sunny? They're saying it's the best season in maybe ever. They are absolutely glowing. I cannot wait.
The one thing about them, they only did 8 episodes last season.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, but I needed 16 or 18.
I need 30. It's so good.
It's a different, Rhea, go ahead. Show it to me. I don't want to sound like a hypocrite.
Total hypocrite. I mean this from the bottom of my heart.
She got me. She got me.
If you want a sense of why Rhea is giving Angelo the finger, you can read all about Angelo Cataldi's life in his book Loud, which is available on Amazon.com, Audible.com, or you can go straight to AngeloCataldi.com to check that out. Rhea Hughes, you can see every single day on the WIP Morning Show. If you go to YouTube, see what she's like talking about sports. She's excellent. You should check that out. Also, you can check out our great sponsor, Steven Singer. If you go to IHateStevenSinger.com, there's a button right in the podcast description. Click on that. And, check out my website, jblack.tv, if you want to know where I'm going to be performing at. And, guys, we'll be back next week with more great TV content. We'll see you then.